Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's great to have you here as always. Thank you for watching. You're watching the VSO Gun Channel. And I don't know when this video is coming out. YouTube's been hitting me pretty hard on the yellow tags lately, so maybe, a day late and a dollar short by the time you see this thing. But regardless, what we're talking about here today is another conflict between the First and Second Amendment and the government. And specifically what we're speaking about is the super safety. Now, if you're not familiar with the super safety, I'm not going to show you any imagery of it. You can go Google it yourself and figure it out. But to describe it to you, it's like a forced reset trigger. And if you're not familiar with a forced reset trigger, we'll get to that here in a second. But that forced reset trigger has been marched one step closer to the NFA line. It's about as razor close to the NFA line as you can get without actually crossing it. It is still a semi-automatic trigger. But for those of you who are unfamiliar with a forced reset trigger, we have regular semi-automatic triggers, and they operate through passive reset. And what that means is the gun goes off, the action cycles, and then if you have the trigger pinned to the rear, the disconnector picks up the hammer and holds it back out of the way. When you let off that trigger, the tension underneath of the hammer via the hammer spring is released from the disconnector, and it moves up and now sits on the sear. So the relationship between the tension and the hammer, the sear, and the trigger bar and all that sort of stuff kind of sits there in homeostasis until you pull the trigger a second time. That's passive reset. An FRT, a forced reset trigger, uses more of an active reset in that it uses some of the energy from the recoil spring that is already present in the gun to push that trigger forward a little bit and move it past the reset. So if you pull back on the trigger hard and hold a forced reset trigger, it won't do anything. It will actually cause the gun to malfunction, which is completely different than a machine gun. But a forced reset trigger harnesses a little bit of that energy to move the thing forward. The super safety modifies all of that and takes it, again, one step further to achieve fire rates that are pretty awesome. And I will say that we have a little internal communications board with me and several of the other content creators. And when I first saw the super safety, I was like, well, boys and girls, I think I found the next YouTuber that's going to jail. Coincidentally, he is not the one that got in trouble over this. So we'll come back here in just a minute after our capitalism break, and I'll break down what is essentially going on with this thing. I started using XS back in my early 20s, like when I could actually see. I used them for the first time in a force-on-force class, and up to that point, to be completely honest, I really didn't get it. From that experience, I can definitively tell you that XS's big dot sight is the best sight for when you're shooting like this. Of course, they make regular sight profiles too, but the consistent attributes are a bright tritium vial surrounded by a photoluminescent insert that charges up with exposure to any light source. They also do everything from shotgun beads to AK post sights, ensuring that XS has a solution when you need the brightest sights in any light. Before I wade into this any farther, I want to make sure that I am 100% crystal clear if my intro didn't do it for you. As a firearms professional who has been active in the firearms industry for over 10 years at this point in time, and has consulted on hundreds of designs with hundreds of manufacturers over that career, I can definitively say that I do not believe the super safety to be a machine gun. And whoever made that determination at the ATF is politically motivated and or entirely incompetent. They have no idea what they're talking about, and they're, as far as experts are concerned, they are akin to the level of expert that we saw on display the other day, the dude who could not take apart a Glock to save his life. So as far as the substantive subject matter experts are concerned at that particular agency, they're wrong on this one. This is a semi-automatic trigger. This is again, a little bit closer to the line, but it is still not a machine gun, and it does not function as one. So to insinuate that it is just either intellectually dishonest or politically motivated. or asinine, one of the three. I mean, they could be entirely incompetent and really not understand the difference. We are talking about government here. So that said, the Super Safety was originally introduced by Hoffman Tactical. And again, they are not the ones who were raided over the weekend. Hoffman Tactical, as far as I can tell, specializes in 3D printing information. And as far as I can tell, they do not sell anything at all as far as like the parts, the actual regulated parts are concerned. It looks to me like they peddle 3D printed designs as far as the digital files are concerned, so that people can use those files as they see fit. And that is the same thing that they were doing with the Super Safety. They were not actually producing the Super Safety and selling it. They simply had the designs out there for anybody who had the capabilities to manufacture it themselves. They could do that. And we've seen lots of videos of the Super Safety in use that people have pulled off of the site and then manufactured themselves, usually via 3D printing. That was true until a intellectual lightweight known as TwinBros LLC thought that it was a fantastic idea to start manufacturing them and selling them. And they are the individuals that ended up getting lined up. And as far as I can tell, from looking at both of these outfits, I don't believe that Hoffman Tactical nor TwinBros LLC appear to be federal firearms licensees. But I cannot be definitive on that because the TwinBros LLC website is down. It doesn't exist anymore, which I suppose they just got raided by the ATF, which makes a lot of sense. Selling things that are on the borderline on the internet and taking people's credit card information just seems kind of irresponsible to me. It seems kind of fetish, as in FED, not FET. But I can't definitively determine that. And the reason that I mention that is that that can either work for them or work against them. So as an 0702, if you have a machine gun license, basically, is the best way to say it quickly. So that would be a manufacturer's license with a special occupation tax stamp, a kicker attached to it. Then you have the privilege of manufacturing machine guns for demonstration purposes. So if they were to have them and be manufacturing the components that were then determined to be machine guns, my phone, not yours, I'm sorry. Actually, this is a doctor. I need to take this. Sorry about that, guys. Important phone call, had to take it. The reason I mention that is we know that they've manufactured these things, okay? Both Hoffman and TwinBros. We've seen the videos from Hoffman. We know TwinBros has sold these things. In the case of Hoffman, if he had his FFL and the ATF says, hey, you know, you haven't sold these things, but you have been manufacturing them, those are machine guns. Then he says, oh, okay, my bad, I'm going to destroy them. I'm not going to put them in the NFA log. Or, my bad, I'll submit the Form 2s right now, right? No harm, no foul, whatever. He's not selling them. In the case of TwinBros, if they are not an FFL, then it probably works out a little bit better for them, because if they were an FFL, then they would definitely have been in violation of the whole selling of machine guns to non-LEO or military partners. So I think 6 of one, half dozen of another. I'm going to be interested to see how this devolves in the coming weeks and months. I would like to know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below, because I think this is going to be another one of those instances where we have the 3D printing is going to be attacked. We know that this has been coming down the pipe for a while, and they've been targeting this sort of thing, particularly with the whole Undetectable Firearms Act. That's, in my opinion, why the big push for renewal of the Undetectable Firearms Act has been so prolific this time around, is because it is my opinion that they are going to use that to go after people who are disseminating information about 3D printing. I would like to know what you guys think about that in the comment section down below, because I think that it's coming, and I think it's coming in a hurry, and this might be just the instance that kicks that whole thing off. But that is the current situation with the super safety, and I suppose we will see how that develops. Again, as of the filming of this video, nothing has happened to the original designer of that product, but I'm pretty sure that we'll probably have an update coming on that here in relative short order. I don't know. Anyway, that's all for me here today. Stick tuned for more updates. We'll see you in another video here at the VSO Gun Channel.